Coming up, a new product from Snaggletooth Tactical, a modded out Rat 1 that is out of this world, and we're going to take a look at my very complete OffGrid Knives folder collection. I'm Bob DeMarco. This is the Knife Junkie podcast.
Welcome to the Knife Junkie podcast, your weekly dose of knife news and information about knives and knife collecting. Here's your host, Bob the Knife Junkie DeMarco.
Welcome back to the show. One of my favorite comments from this past week on the Jess interview, we had JVF, an old friend of the show and patron, says, "Great show, great talking, great simple knives done with love, a well done job. Thanks." And JVF is one of our gentleman junkies from France. And he really liked Jess Hoffman's knives. Jess Hoffman of J. Hoffman Knives does these beautiful outdoor knives. If you haven't seen it, check out the interview. It's the last one we put up. Second comment was from Berg Knife 758. He says, "I've been following Jess for a year or so. His knife maker tips are very welcome and helpful. I hope he is at Blade Show Atlanta. I'd love to get one of his knives." Well, Berg Knife, you are in luck. He will be there. I look forward to shaking his hand. What a nice guy and what cool knives. And he's one of these guys who started as a hobbyist and has accomplished a lot in a short period of time. And I can't wait to check out his knives in person and meet him in person. All right. Thank you, one and all, for watching over the past few weeks and for leaving comments. I love them. I cherish them as I love and cherish you. Be sure to check us out as we come out with some new knife videos coming out, because I just got 2 boxes like moments ago. Didn't have a chance to get it onto this show, and I can't wait to show you what came. Something from Dirk Pinkerton. I haven't opened it yet. I know it's got some exclusives in there, and then also from Cass Iberia. So stick around. All right, coming up, the state of the pocket check.
What's in his pocket? Let's find out. Here's the Knife Junkie with his pocket check of knives.
It's been a minute. I feel like I've lived a life since last we spoke. Here I had today, I was on a road trip with my daughter. We went to a volleyball tournament. Yes, as I like to say, teenage girl volleyball tournaments are the loudest places on earth. And though I have not been in combat, I'm sure this is a close second. But a road trip it was. So in my pocket was the Microtech SOCOM Elite. One of my favorite all-time and most carried knives in my collection. This one is from 2012. And I just think this was a golden era for their Tanto designs. I love that Tanto with that drop point, clip point, swedge thing going on. What a beautiful design. And this thing has cut everything because this is for many years, almost 12 years now, or almost 10 years now, has been my road trip knife. Now, I did not get this new. I got this from a gent out in California, I think in 2014 or 2015, but it was my first knife with a glass breaker, and that's why it's my official road trip knife. It became so back then, and now it's like, good luck. Also, my first knife with bearings, first knife with S35VN, first knife with carbon fiber. This was a big first for me. Love this knife, and it's cut everything, including waffles at Waffle House, which I think may have made my daughter sick. But it was our first time at Waffle House. We don't have that in our part of Virginia, and I loved it. I had a delicious meal with some very friendly service. Also, I felt very safe because we all know that the Waffle House employees know how to throw down when they need to. Next up on me in my front right pocket, I had the beautiful Jack Wolf Knives Little Bro Jack. And this is from the first run of Little Bros. This was their second knife release, I believe. Or no, third knife release. And this is from that run. They did a run later. And I have one of those with the blue Kieranite. but this was way early, and they had some manufacturing issues with this. Some people sent it back. I did not. It had a little bit of blade wrap, so that means the blade would hit the spring, and it caused a little bit of damage there. I pretty much sharpened it out, and I just love this thing ever since. It's about the size of a number 15 boys knife from GEC, and it is of the same lineage. It's that sleeve board pattern with the clip point. I love that knife. Thirdly on me, another one I love, I had the MR1 on me. This is the TKell Knives MR1, standing for Marine Raider Unit 1. And this is, it's the Night Stalker, just sharpened on the back to make a really great Picall style knife. So this is literally the blade blank to the Night Stalker, and the bevel has been put on the top with the edge on the top, and gives you that awesome Picall action. So you can come down with it and pull out, come down, pull out, come down, pull out, much like a cat's claw. I know a lot of people say the karambit is like a cat's claw, but cats don't do this. They do this. They stab in and pull out as opposed to thrust upwards. So I love this MR1. I love TKell knives, as you know, and we also have a coupon code with them where when you put Bob DeMarco, all caps, one word, you save 10% off your purchase. I get a little bump back, and they get a sale, so everyone wins. It's a win-win-win. I should be a marketer. All right, last up, for emotional support on me, I had I've had this thing forever, over 25 years, I think under 30, but I've had this cold steel Trailmaster Bowie for a long time, and this was part of my road trip kit. This is probably my most traveled with knife. Used to, before I got this years and years ago, I used to travel with the cold steel Tonto, and then for a short period of time, I put the SOG in there, the SOG Super Bowie. But this is the one I always travel with because it's my most tried and true blade, period, in my collection. The most, because I've put it through the most hardship, I guess I should say, and I know that it'll go the distance. This is a very old one, and if you think it looks a little thin, that's because you're right. It's been sharpened so many times. I've removed a lot of metal off of this knife because I've dulled it many times. And so when I hold this next to my father's kind of unmolested Trailmaster, they are different. His is a broader blade, but I still love this thing. Still in my top 5 all-time favorite knives. So that's what I had on me today. Of course, I was not carrying this Trailmaster. It was in my bag, which was right next to me. But I had the Trailmaster, yes, with the leather sheath. That goes to show how old this thing is. And I also had the on my body, the MR1 from TKell Knives. A fantastic fighting knife, and it does fit in the sheath. I had the beautiful walk and talk of the Little Bro, and then, of course, one of my all-time favorite folders, the Microtech SOCOM Elite. All right, we are going to get to the to Knife Life news. I keep wanting to go to the state of the collection for some reason, which is weird, but Knife Life news, we're going to get to that in a second. But first, I want to ask you to like, comment, subscribe, all that usual stuff. Also, download the show to your favorite podcast app. That way you can listen to these dulcet tones whilst on the go. Also, you can help support the show by sharing it around. That's a good way. And if you have a little extra scratch, go on over to Patreon. See what we have to offer there. Yes, we have the third Thursday of the month giveaway. We give away a knife every third Thursday of the month, a really nice one. We also give away knives on other Thursdays, but we save the best for the patrons, Gentleman Junkie patrons. You can scan the QR code on your screen or go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/Patreon and check out the things you get by helping out this show. Again, that's TheKnifeJunkie.com shockwave.com/Patreon.
The Shockwave Tactical Torch is your ultimate self-defense companion, featuring a powerful LED bulb that lasts 100,000 hours, a super sharp crenulated bezel, and a built-in stun gun delivering 4.5 million volts. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose the Shockwave Tactical Torch. TheKnifeJunkie.com/Shockwave.
You're listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. And now here's the Knife Junkie with the Knife Life News.
First up, Zero Tolerance is back. And I know they've been kind of back here and there in dribs and drabs, but this one is takes the cake. It's the 203, again, named after a caliber, a rifle caliber. The 203, or the 0203 by ZT, is a large heavy-duty folder. Look at that beauty. That is a beautiful knife. And you know what's even better, besides the fact that they're going back to their sort of classic format of large, very heavy-duty tactical folders? That's 4 inches of CPM M4. And if you don't like M4, you're a commie. Let's just put it that way. A beautiful drop point with sort of kind of a harpoon. If not a harpoon, it's you could say it's a sweep that leads to a nice thumb swale there, and then right behind that is a thumb ramp, nicely jimped. You've got thumb studs on this, and then of course, since it is M4, it is coated so that the rust stays at bay. But I gotta say, before we move to the handle, look at how beautiful that blade is. It's got a descending and ever so deep belly with a sweep that I love. It's got a really nice point. Ben Schwartz of Knife News was talking about how this would be great for all sorts of tasks and camping, and I'm thinking it would be great for a fight. And I'm just kind of saying that tongue in cheek, but look at the point of that. I mean, this is a thrusting blade. If ever I saw a single-edged thrusting blade. You have M4 is a semi-stainless tool steel. That's why it's coated. You have 2 thick slabs of OD green G10 with stainless steel liners with weight reduction. And then part of the star of the show, the other star of the show, the star of the handle, you might say, is the DuraLock. I absolutely love the ambidextrous DuraLock. It is on my Iridium, and my Iridium is my favorite Axis style. I'm throwing up the scare quotes. Axis style ambidextrous bar lock, bar none. I like it even better than the Able Lock from Hogue. It is just so good, so smooth. And here you have an iteration of that. Different buttons. It's more of a slab that you slide back, but it's the same concept under the hood. Really nice sort of arced angular handle here. So both arced and angular. And then you have a somewhat standard ZT, what do you call that? Ambidextrous pocket clip. So what a beautiful knife. I really am looking forward to getting this. It is available now. However, it is sold out at Knives Ship Free. And that's the only place I checked before here. But it is available now out on the market. I've seen a number of people showing it off. And I like the cut of its jib. Let's put it that way. Second up, another one I really like called the Civivi Triptych. And a triptych is a 3-paneled painting, panel in the center, 2 on the sides. In the old days, when they were religious, they would fold in. And there's some, it's open to interpretation why it's the triptych. You can open it in 3 ways: the thumb stud, the flipper, or the button lock. Or I look at this and I see a nice compound grind. You have a really thin hollow grind on the main cutting edge. You have a much stouter flat bevel on the front, leading to the tip of this beautiful drop point. But you also have a pretty dramatic swedge. So it's also a triple compound grind here. I think it is beautiful. It is, I don't wax poetic about drop points too often, but this is a really, really good looking one. That's 3 inches of 14C 28N blade steel. And you have a number of different handle materials on this one. You have G10, like you see here on this sort of blonde G10. It also comes in all black with a black blade and black G10, but it also comes with a beautiful Damasteel blade with a blue, yeah, right there, blue micarta, which is gorgeous. I mean, that ultramarine blue looks very saturated. It's got 4 lightning holes on the handle, which go all the way through, so you can see the back side of the clip. Really cool. And then there's also a wood handled version of this. This one will be available next month, and I'm recording this in May of 2025, so I suspect sometime shortly after Blade Show, this thing will be available. One quick note about this: I usually don't go for the Civivi Damasteel versions, but that one just looks beautiful with that blue handle. So check it out. All right, next up, this is also, we're going back now to the Kai side of things. This is a new Kershaw version of the Bel Air. Now, the Bel Air came out 2 years ago and caused quite a stir because it was made in the USA. It's sort of a premium Kershaw, something we haven't seen much of except for the Launch Series. The Launch Series sort of reinvigorated the USA premium models from Kershaw. Of course, they still do a bunch of foreign-made, less expensive models, which are also great. Let's face it, they're awesome. But the USA Bel Air was quite a popular model. Well, they came out with a new one with this absolutely gorgeous clip point blade. I love the look of that clip point blade. So premium EDC from Kershaw, that's 3 inches of Magna Cut. And it has the working finish on it. So that's sort of a stone wash. It's a thumb stud or DuraLock opener. So you can see as you move east on the knife, you've got a DuraLock on the handle there. And you've got a beautifully rendered canvas micarta handle. That's OD green and a deep carry reversible pocket clip. I mean, this is, I wish it weren't just 3 paltry inches of Magna Cut. It'd be awesome if it were larger. I'd be all over this all day long, but that's good. I don't have to spend the $160 to get this because it is kind of out of my everyday carry range. I like 3.5 at least to 4 inches of blade length. And if this were larger, it would be a moral imperative. It's USA made. You got to do it. This is available now, so go check it out. And I do believe Knives Ship Free does still have that in stock. All right, last up in Knife Life news, we have the Wii Kyclos. I'll say that. Hopefully I got it in one of those two. This is a beautiful new in-house design. And some of the versions of this harken back to the very early days of Wii. In 2011, I think, is when we kind of broke out. But if you're looking at the screen right now, you'll see those 3 holes in the blade and then that sort of relief channel cut in there. Very old school Wii, and I like it a lot. So this is a 3.79-inch M390 Harpoon clip point. Quite an upsweep on that clip point. Some people like it, some people don't. In terms of their clip points, some people like that, like the Bel Air we were just looking at, that has a very low descending clip, straight clip with a low tip. This one is not that. This has a higher tip with an upsweep and a rather dramatic harpoon clip. This is a beautiful in-house design from them. It kind of goes without saying, Wii does spectacular work, and whether it's an OEM design or one of their in-house, always beautiful. This does have a tie frame lock and a sculpted right-only titanium pocket clip. The one that Jim just put up on screen is the one that really reminds me of early Wii. You've got the two-tone blade with the satin flat and the blackened swedge and bevel, and then you have sort of a similar treatment on the handle. So it's kind of a legacy look here. I think it's really beautiful, but this comes in a number of different colorways. excuse the term. You have the two-tone like you see here. You have 3 versions of plain Jane, where it's like a satin and a shinier handle, a stonewash and a sort of more muted handle, and then an all black. And then, of course, you have the fancy pants version that you saw up there before with the beautiful pivot and the Fafnir Damasteel blade. That's the Fafnir pattern by Damasteel. So beautiful stuff coming from Wii and Civivi with the Triptych and the Kyklos. And then kind of similar, you have the Kershaw and the ZT, also a high and a low with the 203 and the Bel Air. So lots of great stuff happening. I can't wait to see all of these at Blade Show in 2 weeks. And I can't wait to see you guys, or a week and a half as you're listening. And I can't wait to see you. If you're there, please walk up and say hi. If you recognize me, I'd love to meet you. Let me know what your handle is on YouTube. I might recognize it, probably will. And I would love to, I'd love to meet you. I also just want to remind you about the newsletter. I've been off the wagon a couple of weeks here because of a lot of stuff happening in Maycember, but I will be back on the ball with it. And that is a great way to keep up with stuff that's happening here. You get some interesting articles, you get some beautiful pictures, and we get to have your contact info in case we get shut down, because we're always getting shadow banned. But it's a good way to keep in touch, so keep that in mind. All right, coming up, I got 2 cool things to show you in the state of the collection.
Want to sell your custom knives online? With LaunchCart, you can easily create your own e-commerce store. No coding required. LaunchCart is designed for knife makers like you, with built-in tools to showcase your craftsmanship, manage orders, and grow your brand. It's fast, flexible, and even includes low-cost payment processing to help you keep more of your profits. Start your online knife store today at TheKnifeJunkie.com/launch and turn your passion into a business.
All right. I want to show you something cool from Rob Pena of Snaggletooth Tactical. He just sent this to me. Yeah, you're looking at a 6-inch TiLite, but you see something a little extra. And there it is. That is the Snaggletooth MF for the TiLite 6. Now, there's also one for the TiLite 4. These are pocket openers, and they really work well. Now, you're looking at this and you're saying, what about the top quillion, Bob? We know that can open it up also off the pants. And yeah, it can, but also it's shying away. It should be hooked forward like you see here. And then also that jimping is murder on the jeans pockets. You can do it a couple of times, but after a few times, you're going to start ruining your garment. So here we have a Snaggletooth Tactical MF that fits beautifully over the thumb stud of the TiLite 6. And I'm going to open it like that. But really, what you got here is something that kind of perfects the design. Now, I always said that I wish the TiLite had the quillions reversed. I feel like this one should be this one, and this one should be this one. In other words, the top one should be pointing away with a place to put the thumb, and vice versa down on the bottom. But I think when this came out, they were dealing with Emerson copyright issues with the wave. So they did not do that. But now you have a way to wave it open flawlessly without having to press it and grind it and saw your pocket with the jimping here. So it also gives you a really nice swale there. This creates a swale for your thumb to really lock into, something you don't get ordinarily with the TiLite. You do have to put the thumb back here, or you can put the thumb forward, but you don't have a place to push against until now. So that is the Snaggletooth MF for the TiLite. And so this is the TiLite 6. There's also one for the TiLite 4 right here. My TiLite 4 has an issue, and I couldn't remove the thumb stud in time to put this on, but it comes with a screwdriver there, so you can take off the thumb stud and then put on the Snaggletooth MF. So a very cool new device, a new mod from Rob Pena of Snaggletooth Tactical. And there it is for your TiLite. Now, he sent me something else. He's like, you've got to check this guy out. He is a master at modding the Rat 1. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. I don't think I've seen that. And he sent it to me, and this thing is beautiful. Now, it's from K-Mods. K-Mods is his handle on Facebook, and his name is Hans Klein. Hans Klein, nice Irish boy, Hans Klein. And K-Mods, here it is. This thing is beautiful. Now, Rob machines out backspacers, or has machined out backspacers for Hans Klein in the past. And so this was a gift to Rob from Hans, and it's on loan to me. But look at how beautiful this is. So let's start from the blade. He does this awesome etching. Here we have a bronzed Second Amendment. So you can just sort of see there 2A, and you can see it like an M4 or an AR, like a short-barreled AR there. And then you can see something that looks like a Randall number 14 attack, creating the A. You see the stars and stripes, beautifully etched and in relief on the blade, and then bronzed. And then on the other side, you see 1776 K-Mods. The O is a scope. And then look at this handle. The handle is incredible. Now, you can see there's some G10, but atop the G10 is metal, steel, I guess, from ammo cans. So this has ammo cans, and then this is some sort of an explosive can. So that's what makes up the handle scales. Absolutely beautiful. And then around the pivot, you have a, what is this? What caliber? A 44 Hornady, a 44 caliber 44 caliber shell is the pivot ring, and then all along the thumb stud you have, or the pocket clip. Sorry, you have a 38 special, a 7.62, and a 44 Remington mag, in descending order of largeness, and it just looks so badass. And then, of course, we have a brass Skull Crusher backspacer here. This thing is modded out as it could possibly be, and so cool. Obviously, gun themed. And then that is a 38 special shell on the end of this pocket fob. So I wish this were mine. It is not, but Rob sent this to me to check out, and I love this. This is the coolest Rat 1 I have ever seen, and it still feels great in hand. It's still wicked sharp, and it's always a great knife. But in this dress, it just can't be beat. Super cool. So that's K-Mods. I'm going to look to get Mr. Klein, Mr. Hans Klein, on the show. I'm going to reach out to him. He does incredible work, and this is his thing, his contribution to the knife world. So I look forward to talking to him about that. All right, that's it for the state of the collection, though I did receive boxes I have yet to open, and I can't wait to show those off next week. But we are going to get to my OffGrid Knives folder collection. But first, I want to show you this beautiful, these are like, Jim has crossed over a boundary here. He is now making stuff like Van Gogh stuff. He is now designing merch, just channeling Van Gogh. Look at this. It looks like Starry Night, except with knives. So let's call it Starry Knife. Why not? Starry Knife. This beautiful design. You can get it on an apron. You can get it on t-shirts, hats, mugs, whatever your fancy. TheKnifeJunkie.com/shop. Look at these beautiful knives swirling around. That's what it's called. He says, yes, indeed, Starry Knife. It is beautiful. I love it. If you've ever seen Starry Night, I think Starry Night it's either in the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York or it's in the Stedelijk Museum. I can't pronounce it. In Holland, in Amsterdam. Sorry about the language. Go check it out. But if you can't, go to your local art museum. They will have at least one Van Gogh, and it is transformative. Go check it out. And if you want a transformative t-shirt as a knife fan and a knife junkie, go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/shop and check out Starry Knife. All right, let's get to these awesome off-grid knives. Off-grid knives, I know and love off-grid knives for many years now, and I have an almost complete collection of the folders. Almost. There are a couple of versions, couple of V3s here and there that I don't have, but I have pretty much all of them. And I'm going to start with the most recent release, and I've been carrying this knife all the time. This is the Stinger XL. It even has schmutz on it. This came with me on my trip this weekend, and apparently I didn't clean it after using it, but I cut something greasy with it. I think it was a hamburger, but this is the latest release. Now, this is the Stinger drop point. They're both drop points, but the original Stinger was more of a spear point because of the grind. When you look at it, it's got a medial ridge and two kind of equal bevels, top and bottom, with a bayonet grind. Bayonet meaning you've got a little less of a bevel on top because there's a place to put your thumb. And this is probably the most oblique grind in the off-grid lineup. But as you can see from the spine, it's still wicked thin and incredibly sharp. And the folders from off-grid knives are, bar none, my absolute favorite cardboard knives. If you have a lot of cardboard to cut up, get an off-grid folder. Doesn't matter which one. They all zip through. This one is the same blade profile as the spear point, but it's a full flat grind. So the point is in the same place, but it's got a different bevel and is incredibly sharp and shears through anything. Now, one last thing I want to add, I forgot to add this in my show notes, but this is the Stinger EDC. So it's much smaller knife at about 3 inches in blade length. Is that right? Must be 3. Yep, 3 inches in blade length. EDC. This thing is still a full thickness in the handle. It melts in the hand, and it has a full row of jimping, so you can really reach forward with your thumb and still engage that jimping. And I do believe that the popularity of the Stinger EDC small version is what led to the creation of the larger full flat ground version, because these full flat grinds, man alive, do they slice all day long. So Carrie sends me these knives and I cherish them, but I always end up giving the black ones away. I don't always give the black ones away. Lately I have been, because they'll send me a coyote and a black version, and I love these coyote with the gray bladed versions. So that's what you're seeing here, my full Stinger collection. -1, but you'll see that one in a minute. It belongs to a different category. All right, next up, let me close these beauties up. Something I really like about off-grid knives is that they err on the side of largeness with their folders, and I love that. Carrie's a big dude, and he's got big hands, so he designs big knives, and I like 4-inch bladed knives. This next one is not 4 inches and has never seen a large version, unlike most other designs, but this is the Raptor. I have this in a black version, and this one is relatively well, I guess I can't say that. You can see some schmutz on the blade, but I've used the black one much better. Now you're looking at this and you're thinking, oh, how different, how unique. You think that he just designed this knife to look different and weird. But actually, this is probably the most functional small knife I've ever had. because it is a recurve tanto, but the recurve is not on the main edge. It's on that forward edge. And this thing is amazing. It's amazing for shearing through all sorts of material. And you will be surprised when you get one, because you should, but you will be surprised at how great a recurve on the front part of a tanto is, almost better than the back part. Because, and the reason I say that is because we do a lot of chores where we do this with the knife. We put our finger down on the blade and we drag it across materials. Well, I'll tell you, that recurve up front really grabs the materials, feeds it into the tip, and you get incredible pull cuts with this knife. I'm going to be 100% honest. I think it's ugly. I do think it's an ugly duckling, but what makes it kind of makes up for it in spades with how useful it is. So not my favorite knife to look at, but one of my favorite knives to use. This is D2 blade steel, whereas the stingers that I was just showing you are 154 cm of blade steel, so kind of more on their upper end. D2, as we all know now, is nothing to sniff at. It fell out of vogue, but man, we all know D2 is a great blade steel, has great edge holding capabilities, and is pretty damn tough. It's proving to be one of the tougher steels out there, actually, surprisingly. All right, next up, this is one that's out of print. You can't get this one anymore, I don't believe, unless you look on the secondary market. Again, you can see use on this knife. I really use the hell out of my off-grid knives because they're so good. This is the Black Stallion. The Black Stallion. A very beautiful Wharncliffe blade, and yet it's a true Wharncliffe because it's got a continuous curve from about the end of where the thumb can reach to the tip. Oftentimes we will use knives like this because they're so good at this sort of draw cut, this sort of pull cut like this, because the tip is way down low. But I'll have you know that tip down low with that straight edge is also great for defensive capabilities, defensive uses. And we've learned that from Michael Janich and the Yojimbo, because as you slash through something with that low tip and the straight edge, it almost, when incorporated with the curve of your swipe and the angles in your elbow and shoulder, it will feed material into that tip. So it makes for a great slasher. Though we look at this and we think, yeah, it's a really nice utility blade. And that it is. I've never used it for the former, only for the latter. This has a really nice golf ball style dimpling in the G10. Really nice grip. Pretty soft, but you can sink all the flesh into that, all the flesh of your hand into that pattern and really get a great purchase. Now, this was back in the day before Kerry took on board the flush screws in the inset clip. This has an inset clip, but with some pretty proud screws. But beautiful thing about a smallish company like OffGrid Knives, who has their knives manufactured by Bestech, and then formerly Wii, but also a manufacturer in Taiwan, is that he can make changes as he hears they're needed. And so when he hears, yeah, those kind of screws kind of mess up my pants, well, he's small enough and nimble enough to make changes. And that they have done with their many versions. Okay, next up is the Rapid Fire. Now, the Rapid Fire they are not the only assisted openers in my collection, but they're the only ones I carry. I love these. Here it is. This is not the original. I do not have the original Rapid Fire that has the backcountry recurve blade, but I have a number of others, and I'll show them right here. This is the Stinger version, so you can see the lineage with the original Stinger blade there. So the Rapid Fire originally came out in a recurve blade, and then he re-released the Rapid Fire in a version 2 with the Stinger blade, and where are they? And with the Viper blade, that beautiful centerline drop point or clip point Tonto, and also the Wharncliffe. The Wharncliffe came in 2 different versions, and I really like this one. This lives in my car door with that bright orange G10 and those wicked teeth on that true Wharncliffe blade. Again, true Wharncliffe meaning a continuous descent from the thumb ramp down to the tip, and really, really nice ergonomics on this. Plus, it's got a glass breaker. So these 3 knives, what's the blade steel on these? Cryo D2 on these. Whoops, I just stabbed my leather. Okay. Well, that's all right. But these things fire like they fire like stronger than Microtech out the sides. And that's why I really love these knives. Well, the ergonomics are great. They fit great in hand. Even though they have those 2-finger partition swales there, they feel great in hand. The blades are nice and thin and incredibly sharp. And yeah, they're just great versions of these blades in an awesome assisted opener. This is the one assisted opener, like I said, that I don't bristle at. And this one in particular, I love because it's always with me because I'm always in my car. Look at that thing. Look at those teeth. So a great, this rescue version, obviously the Wharncliffe is good to get under a seat, under a car seat belt, because you have that curved surface there. You can kind of slide under and then do your cutting. So that is the Rapid Fire. Only missing one blade shape from the Rapid Fire, but one day we will rectify that. All right, next up, this is a beauty. This is the Viper V2. And so we just saw the Viper blade on the Rapid Fire. This one is slightly thicker, a little bit more stout, but still incredibly thin and slicey, like all off-grid knives are. And this one has a 154 cm crucible blade. You've got 2 types of jimping on the spine. You've got that traditional file work jimping, and then you have the straight across the top jimping. So really, really great. And no matter how far your thumb, if your thumb can reach to the end of this, you're a freak. You've got a full length jimped spine there. You can reach your finger all the way forward to use that center line tip. That's something I love about an Americanized Tonto like this, is that instead of having the tip at the spine, at the height of the spine, it's in the center, and then you have that clipped off version. So when you look at it from this aspect, it almost, it almost looks like a Gladius or something like that. So a center line point for utility, also for defense. These knives are always taking defense in mind. But as I mentioned, this is the V2 version of this Viper. And so the V1 version, I had black. I've given all of the alternate versions of these away as we go through this. So I had a black on black, but this Coyote and gray version here, you can see it's a little stained. I use this one a lot. It has a really nice filler tab there for the offside of the clip. Now you can see at this point by the V2 of the Viper, he changed the blade shape a little bit, but also he used those flattened screws, incorporated the flattened screws in the inset pocket clip. So it's not going to menace your jeans. You're not going to mess up your jeans at all. On bearings, super smooth, flipper action. Love this knife, the Viper V2. Now, most of these are available right now, except for this next one. Well, the Black Stallion is also not available, but this next one is not available in this version. This is the Cleaver V2. Now there's the V3, and that one looks even cooler. But this one, as you can see, has gotten a lot of use. It's a a great cleaver style EDC size. So that's 3¼ inches there of D2 blade steel. A very, very dramatic swedge on this cleaver blade. Ordinarily, I don't go for cleaver style knives because they don't have points. But with that incredible swedge on the tip and that relatively shallow point there, if you need to, you could stab this into something. Now, I've used this to stab into cardboard and then pull, you know, so you have your cardboard here. And then, but if you needed to in a self-defense situation, I would trust this more than I would most other cleaver style blades. Unlike the V3, which is damn sweet, you got to check it out on their website. This one has a finger choil, so you can come right up on it and use it. The V3 version has the edge coming right up to the flipper, so it's almost like having a choil. It may as well be. But you're getting more cutting edge and a little bit more of a sweep, a little bit more of a belly to that cutting edge. This one, like I mentioned, has gotten a lot of use. Now on this one, on the V2, he had already moved to the inset screws, but does not offer, this is more of a budget offering, does not give you a filler tab. I would say there are 3 tiers to the OffGrid knives. You've seen the first 2. There's like a, the lowest end, which is what you're looking at. Super high quality, by the way. No issues whatsoever in, there's no rattle, no side-to-side play, no play at all. I mean, any play at all, this day and age, it's a substandard company, but this stuff is so nice. Made by Bestech or Taiwan. These things are great. But so 3 tiers, kind of you've seen a bunch of mid, and you've seen kind of the lower budget, and then we're going to show a couple of high budget ones here in a minute. All right, next up, this is the very, very first knife from OffGrid Knives that caught my eye when they first came out, and I'm not sure if this was their first design. I know that this is the V2 version of this beauty. This is the Rhino, and this thing is so cool. It's got that steep descending clip point, similar to that Kershaw we saw earlier, similar to, almost reminds me a little bit of a Winkler, kind of. It kind of looks a little bit like a Winkler. Anyway, 154 cm blade steel here, 4.6 inches on this clip point blade, a really, really nice saber ground blade. You've got a really engaging thumb ramp here with jimping. Now, the new version of this has jimping on the downward side, which I appreciate, which we see here on the baby Rhino. You see that downward jimping on the down slope of the clip? Well, you get that now on the new version of this knife. I remember my dad, after he heard my first interview with Kerry Orifice of OffGrid Knives, my dad was so impressed. He bought me an OffGrid knife, and he bought my brother one. He got my brother the Rhino, and he got me the Backcountry. And I was so psyched with the Backcountry fixed blade, but I also wanted the Rhino, and I was jealous of my brother. Can you believe that? Not envious, but jealous. So here it is. Same thickness now, same handle thickness. Between this micro version, the baby version, and the large version, maybe a little bit thinner on this. But my point in saying that is when you make such a small version of a knife that's like 3.5 or 3 fingers, you want to keep the handle thick so that you have a good purchase and can use this. We have 3 of these in the house. I have this one and the all black one, and my wife also has a version of this knife. She loves it. This is the baby Rhino, gorgeous clip point blade, and then the adult Rhino, the regular Rhino, the Rhino V2. Check out the Rhino V3, which is in the works, and then the Rhino V2.5, which has the jimping up here, or maybe that's the Rhino 3 that's coming out. But anyway, go to the website; you'll be able to check it out. We do have a affiliate link with them. So if you want to buy one of these things, buy it through us actually. That would be great. It helps the channel. And you go to the TheKnifeJunkie.com/offgrid. If you like any of these knives or any of the fixed blade knives, you buy it using that link, and he gets a sale, and I get a little kickback or whatever. I guess that's not the right word. That's the wrong word to use, Bob. But you know what I mean. It helps us all. So that's the baby Rhino and the regular Rhino. Next up, this one started life as an EDC, the Cayman. That wicked clip point blade. I absolutely love this blade shape. And you can see this one's gotten a lot of use too. And then after much many requests from myself, and I'm sure many, many others who love this 2.5 inch D2 folder with G10 handles, we said, give us a big one. And so he did. And here it is. This is the large Cayman, or the Cayman XL. The Cayman XXL is the big fixed blade, which lives in my dresser. So if I'm ever getting dressed and someone jumps me, they're done for. So this is the 4-inch 154 cm blade steel, right? 154. I'm sorry, 14C28N. So this has a 4-inch 14C28N blade here with that dramatic, what looks to me like a Confederate Bowie with that real dramatic swept clip, but with a relatively low point and almost a straight edge. I have a couple of era Confederate Bowies that my brother has gotten me at antique shows, and they kind of resemble this. But I think when Kerry was designing this, he was thinking of the crocodilian animal called the Cayman, and so kind of gave it a snout. It looks a lot like a Cayman. And I believe he's been down to the Pantanal in Brazil, where Cayman run wild or slither wild, eating capybara and other kind of things, competing with jaguar. And I think they left a big impression on him. And so he designed this knife after that beautiful crocodilian animal. Basically a dinosaur. Let's face it, people. We live with dinosaurs all around us. Birds, crocodiles, alligators. So I love the big version of this. This knife has gotten a lot of carry and a lot of use too, because I love the dramatic swashbuckling blade. I love the way it looks, but actually it's also incredibly useful. If you're a guy who likes the look of a Bowie or a clip point, or a gal, but you like the utility of a Wharncliffe and that nearly flat edge and that very low point, this is a great knife for you. So that is the Cayman and the Cayman XL. All right, next up, this is one of the premium Elite. They call them Elite. This is from the Elite line. Now this one is the Scorpion. And this is the Scorpion V2. And the Scorpion V2, these were made by Wii Knife. Now they're up to the Scorpion V3, and I believe it's Bestech who's making them. Looks almost exactly the same. There are some changes, of course, with the pocket screws and other things. I think the profile of the blade is slightly sleeker, if I'm not mistaken. But this thing is pure luxury. This is, oh yeah, okay. Back then it was S35VN. Now I believe this comes in Magna Cut. It also went through a run of M390. This is an older version of this knife, as I mentioned, but super duper smooth on bearings. Just a luxury tactical folder here. Really nice black wash titanium frame lock handle here with the inset, what do you call that? Carbon fiber, jimping as the day is long all over it, and also great in a reverse grip. Now, funny, I had this out. I was carrying this today. These two knives always kind of reminded me of one another, just a little bit. I mean, there's no, when you look at them side by side, there's not that much of a similarity, but something about the handle here always kind of reminded me of the SOCOM Elite by Microtech, and it always had a comforting feel to it. it just feels great, even though it's angular, feels great in hand, and just has a great shape. This knife is awesome. I haven't carried this in a little while, but having it in hand right now is encouraging me, inspiring me to pick this up and start carrying it again. Again, a luxury tactical knife from OffGrid Knives is the Scorpion. Go check out. They're in the V3 right now, I believe. Next up is the Enforcer and the Enforcer XL. That's the XL. This is a limited edition with that red Dawn G10. So you've got black G10 with red running through it. It's got a diamond texture to it, so very grippy texture. This is the original. This is the Enforcer, coming in at 3.25 inches of D2, and then this one is 154 cm, the large one. But this this knife is awesome. It feels so good in hand, even in this small 3.25 inch perfect EDC size. Great drop shuttiness on the KVT bearings on this. Really, really nice modified sheep's foot, we'll call it. Since Carry designs true worn clips, I do have to call this a modified sheep's foot because it comes to an angle here and then drops down to that edge, to that tip. Plus, the edge has a slight belly on it. This is a liner lock, beautifully made. And then this thing. The Enforcer was my car knife for a long time, the regular black version, but it has a incredible noggin knocker / glass breaker on the back. Look at that thing coming up about a ½ inch or about 3/8 of an inch off the back end there. Really full grip on this. This is indeed a wicked blade, kind of really worthy of the name Enforcer. You could see some guy going around collecting, breaking kneecaps and threatening people carrying this. Not that that's what it's for. It's for camping. It's for outdoor use. But yeah, really, the Enforcer. This thing is incredible. I love tactical sheep foots. I love tactical Wharncliffes, and this embodies that all day long. Now, the last knife here is sort of related. It's sort of an upscale, Uptown Girl version. And here we have the original Black Mamba. This is not the original. This is the V2 Black Mamba. So you can see the DNA between the Enforcer and the Black Mamba. So the Black Mamba V2 was a smaller one at about 3 inches in blade length, right? 3 inches. Let's make sure. Yep. About 3 inches in blade length here. This one is a luxury model, though. So you've got this beautifully golf ball dimpled titanium here, black washed. So all the peaks are white or, bright, but the valleys are black. So it's got a beautiful look to it. Titanium frame lock with M390 blade steel, with that gorgeous old school file work jimping. And this is just a great, great knife here. And then last year, so in 2024, knowing what he had, he did a V3 version of the Black Mamba and created a large version of it. I should have kept the black one, but I couldn't resist this beautifully gold anodized titanium. And then this one, as you can see, if you're looking on screen, has CPM Magna Cut. Also, it does that double jimping that we saw in earlier in the Stinger, not the Stinger, in the Viper. So you see the file work on the side, but then you have traditional notch jimping on the top. So your hand just locks into this thing. It is big. That is a 4-inch Magna Cut gray wash blade, and that is a large 5-inch titanium handle, but it's nice and thin and nice and light. This thing is incredibly easy to carry and part of the elite lineup here. It's hard for me to pick a favorite, but in this very moment, I got to say, I think this is my favorite. Of all of the ones we looked at, this last one is my favorite. Ask me tomorrow, I'll say something else. I've been carrying the new Stinger XL. Oh, wrong one. I've been carrying the new Stinger drop point a whole lot and love this knife too. But something very, very, very compelling about this Magna Cut and titanium Black Mamba 3, the large one. All right, guys. Thank you. Thank you for watching, guys and gals. I'm going to assume there are some gals out there. Thank you for watching this OffGrid Knives folder collection edition of the Knife Junkie podcast midweek supplemental. If you like any of these knives, I urge you to buy them. Support Carrie Orifice, and also you can help support the Knife Junkie podcast through the affiliate links. Just go to TheKnifeJunkie.com/offgrid and buy yourself an amazing and very reasonably priced. You're going to be shocked how reasonably priced these are. Tactical folding knife. But just saying tactical does not get across how thin and slicey all these blades are. These are outstanding knives for every sort of use. So go check them out. Woo! Also, check us out on Thursday Night Knives. If you're watching this the day it drops, tomorrow night, 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on YouTube and Twitch. It is great. It's when we all let our hair down. We have a big, long, knife-centered conversation for 2 hours. And pretty much every weekend, due to the generosity of Dave of OG Blade Reviews, we give away a knife. So he gives me all these knives. I give them away to you. And then if you're a patron and a Gentleman Junkie patron, you are entered to win a special knife on the third Thursday of every month. All right. For Jim working his magic behind the switcher, I'm Bob DeMarco saying until next time, don't take dull for an answer.
Thanks for listening to the Knife Junkie podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please rate and review at reviewthepodcast.com. For show notes for today's episode, additional resources, and to listen to past episodes, visit our website, TheKnifeJunkie.com. You can also watch our latest videos on YouTube at TheKnifeJunkie.com/YouTube. Check out some great knife photos on TheKnifeJunkie.com/Instagram, and join our Facebook group at TheKnifeJunkie.com/Facebook. And if you have a question or comment, email them to bob@TheKnifeJunkie.com or call our 24/7 listener line at 724-466-4487, and you may hear your comment or question answered on an upcoming episode of the Knife Junkie podcast.